Alright, so here we go. We got the Masters of the Universe Classics King Grayskull. I guess this is a reissue variant figure. I do have the Comic-Con version, which I got really lucky when I got that, and maybe I'll tell the story as I'm doing this. But this guy, the reissue, I guess, came in the standard old white mailer with his name on it. Nothing special on there. They're still sticking cool names on the bottom. I know some of the newer ones at the end of 2012, I think they stopped doing that. So, like my King Randor, he doesn't have one on there. And then there is the man himself right there, King Grayskull. Super cool sculpt. Back him up a little bit. Got some crazy stuff going on here with my camera. But yeah, looks really cool. The only thing I didn't like from the pictures that I saw before I got him was the fact he's got the red cape, which now in person it just kind of looks, I don't know, kind of cartoonish. Get this guy out a little bit. Yeah, so there he is. Has the original burst on there. Heroic Ancestor of He-Man. Now, I just got this one, so I'll have to go back and check and see if the first release of this guy did not have the Starburst, or if the burst was on there because he was re-released. So what I'm basically wondering, and I haven't checked it out, are there 3 versions of this guy, sort of, collector-wise, completist-wise? Because you'd have the San Diego Comic-Con version, you have the original release of this variant that would not have the burst, and then you'd have this version with the little Starburst on there. So, yeah, if that's not confusing. But anyway, just looking at him in there, he's cool. They had added in the blue lightning here. They don't have the lightning coming down like the other figures typically do on the sides of the packaging. Like the sorceress there, you got the lightning coming down on the side. He's making his own lightning. He does come with 2 halves of the power sword, which I think this is the first time we've gotten both male and female halves. And it's got some other cool accessories in there we'll talk about. But yeah, standard packaging, looks great. It does not have the 30th anniversary because this one came out, I guess, 2011-ish. And it does have some cool figures on there. The Green Goddess. One of my favorite figures from the first couple of years there. And there's his card. Oh yeah, pretty cool. His real name's Van Grayskull, which is cool. It's cool. Looks a little bit shinier than my, on the face anyway, than my Comic-Con one. So we'll have to compare the two and see what we get. But yeah, there he is. So crack this guy out of his package and check him out. Alright, now we got King Grayskull out of the packaging, and he came with a ton of accessories. Just looking at him like he is, his hair is really shiny. I haven't compared him side by side with the San Diego Comic-Con release yet, but we'll check him out, and then in just a little bit we'll set him up side by side. The main differences on this guy, for me anyway, just by looking at him, is the cape. The original release had a brown cape. This has got definitely a Christmas looking red cape with the white fur. The fur looks great. It's an awesome, really matte, flat finish on the fur, and it looks fluffy. I think the original release had a brownish look to it, so that's kind of cool. That's kind of why I waited for him till December. I mean, I wanted to get my Temple of Darkness sorceress and show the stand for the orb there. But I just thought this guy looked so Christmassy that I decided to wait until I got my extra one in, and it was in December. So that worked out really well. So as far as accessories go, he comes with the orb, which is a sparkly little ball there. And we'll check out that a little bit more later too. He also comes with a power sword that's partially solid, partially sparkly. Let me take this out of his paws there, and we'll... If I can do it without warping the sword, it'd be awesome. Yeah. So it's kind of neat. You know, kind of a charged up, half mystical, magical power sword kind of thing. That's neat. Comes with the standard He-Man type shield, and the male and female halves of the power sword that combine into a full-on power sword. But yeah, he looks pretty good, except for the super shiny hair. I'm not sure if there you go. Looks really shiny, especially on camera. Now his cape is removable, which is cool. It has two like stud like protrusions on the back of his harness that go into a couple of recesses of his cape there. And so that's pretty neat. Looks like it wasn't glued, so that's interesting. But I'm glad they did it that way. Would have liked it they'd had it some other way where these didn't protrude, because the next step for this guy, since I already have the other one, is I'm popping his head off and making a 2000X version He-Man. You know, because he's got a little bit different. The logo's actually a little bit better. I've seen some full-on customs on the MattyCollector forums. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just going to part swap. I'm not even going to take off the big chunky tabs there, posts, whatever they are. Leave them just like that. He's got the regular old articulation. He's got a 360 movement on his ball jointy head, just hindered a little bit by his hair and his his hair on both sides, I guess. He's got, other than that, it's just a regular He-Man buck, He-Man type buck. He's got ab crunch, which is really tight. He's got the pseudo ball type shoulder. He's got the swivel bicep, single point elbow, swivel wrist. He's got a waist swivel that is super tight on mine. And he's got the regular Masters type hip pseudo ball joint. You can see the in-out mechanism there, and it twists there, and back and forth there. Single point knee, and it's really tight too. Has a calf swivel at the boot, and then he's got regular ankle articulation, the up and down and the side to side. And mine's a little bit loose. I mean, it could be a little bit tighter. I haven't had much problem with them falling over, as long as I've had them on the stand with both pegs. And you can stand them up without too much trouble, but they're still pretty loose. I mean, you know, it's not like I'm not too worried about them flipping over or anything like that, but I'll probably have to put a little bit of floor wax in there. Let me grab my other King Grayskull, and we'll check them out side by side. Alrighty, so now we've got Grayskull 1 and Grayskull 2 out. Just check them out side by side. Yeah, you can tell all the repaints, or all the parts that have been painted differently from the original. You've got the, use my mystical magical pointer here. Of course, you got the cape, which is, you know, his is red, his is brown. He's got the fluffy white looking fur on there, and his is like dingy, dirty looking battle encrusted fur. The hair, his is a nice matte finish, same as his little beading leather strap thingies on his hair there. It's not quite as shiny, and his is like glossy, just like, looks like it's just been painted with gloss paint, gloss clear coat. His face has got a little bit of a shading on it. His doesn't. The eyes are a little bit different. Let's see if I can't close up a little bit there. So you got, let's see, get some more light in here. See if that helps. There we go. Yeah, so you got that, and then you got that. So his has come out in more of a who's next kind of fighting kind of expression with his eyes there, and then he's got just more of a benevolent middle ground just expression there, just by simply changing the way the eyes are painted. So that's pretty cool. You can also see that he's got gray gauntlets on there, same mold of course, and then his is like a pewter, same as the belt. He's got more of a reddish brown loincloth. His is more of a straight brown. And then once you check out the boots, his are super shiny, and his are like super dull. And I will go ahead and tell you that I had to replace his ankle joints. I had to sacrifice a He-Man to fix his joints, which is cool because now that means I have a regular He-Man head to put on this one and make it more of a 2000X variant. So that worked out. But out of the two, I mean, if they're both the same price, I think I would probably go with King Grayskull 1 here. Only because of the matter paint, the flatter paint, whatever, and the color of the cape and everything. But I like his the way his buck is done with the silver and stuff. So if I could just swap out the heads and boots, I would do that. But since his head doesn't come off, I'm not even going to bother. So if they're both side by side, like if they're both like one was regular, one was a regular reissue, you know, like they do with like who they do that with, like Zodak. You know, you have like both versions of Zodak or whatever. If I could buy two and swap out parts, I'd make an Ultimate King Grayskull. But since this guy's not coming apart, and he's super hard to find and expensive when you do find him, I'm happy with this guy. I mean, you take off his cape and he doesn't look quite as Christmassy. You know, that's kind of cool. Definitely a great precursor to He-Man there. So, I'm glad I got the second one. Only because now I can do some customizing and stuff. I mean, if you like the red cape, you know, then that's great. That's like super bonus. One thing I haven't actually talked about or really shown much is his two halves of the power sword there, which I was kind of reluctant and even put them together because I wasn't sure if I could get it back apart. And then once I got it together, I wasn't sure if they were going to stay, you know, completely flat. But got the female part here and the male part there, and press them together. You get a couple little tabs and holes they go into, and then because the part that goes through the blade of the sword has a couple of little I don't know, it's like a notch and tab kind of thing almost. If you look really close, it actually fits together really, really well. I was totally surprised that it actually fit together that well. Now the handle on this is actually a little bit thicker than the regular ones, but it still, you know, fits in his hand pretty good. So there we go. Red cape aside, and well, okay, I'll tell you what. The red cape I don't like, so that's kind of like a half a point for me. But I mean, I do like the white flocking. It looks awesome. Not really flocking, but I mean, it looks like it's flocked. It's such a flat paint that they used on there that it looks like it's flocked almost, and that's a really cool effect. So that kind of balances it out. I really like the white, just the way it looks. It's definitely my, you know, Christmas He-Man cape, so, or Santa He-Man cape away. But the basic figure, in fact, comes with so many little doodads and stuff. You know, comes with the shield and the power sword. It splits in half, and comes with the charged, semi-glowing power sword. That's really cool. And then you got the orb that he comes with there that he draws his power from, I believe. And then additionally, if you have the Temple of Darkness Sorceress, you also get, with her you get a stand for the orb. And we'll show this off with her review too. So yeah, there you go. Figure, 9 out of 10. The only thing that I really take off for is he's got loose ankles. With the cape on, it's kind of difficult to stand him sometimes. So that's really the only one flaw, aside from my personal preference of the cape. But luckily, it's removable. So 9 out of 10 for the Masters of the Universe Classics King Grayskull. So if you don't have one, get one, because I think they still have them for sale. He hasn't really sold out as fast as I would have expected. I mean, he was the original version. You know, was the first Masters of the Universe Classics figure. So how can you not have a King Grayskull? Plus, he was awesome in the MYP cartoon. So there you go. I can't tell you more times to get a King Grayskull. Either one. Definitely like this one better. but because of money and stuff, I would definitely go ahead and get this one. Maybe paint his head and stuff in some flat paint. You'd be good to go. So definitely a thumbs up for King Grayskull.